Ladies and gentlemen, Spring Convocation 2019 and the installation of Mount Royal's 10th President and 1st Vice Chancellor will officially begin with the procession of the platform party and faculty members. The procession will be introduced by the Conservatory Piano Quintet performing Century. Please remain seated. Please rise as you are able for the graduand processional and remain standing until the end of the national anthem. please remain standing for the singing of the national anthem, which will be performed by Ms. Hannah Pagenkoff.
Please be seated. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our distinguished guests, faculty, family, and friends. My name is Susan Mallon, and I am the chair of the Mount Royal University's Board of Governors. It is a privilege today and a distinct honor to be your Master of Ceremonies today as we install Mount Royal's 10th President and first Vice Chancellor, and then the main event, we celebrate our graduating students for 2019. I would like to acknowledge that Mount Royal University is in the traditional territories of the Recipient, Blackfoot, and the people of the Treaty 7 region in southern Alberta, which includes the Siksika, the Piikani, the Kainai, the Tsuut'ina, and the Yahi, Nakota. We are situated on land where the Bow River meets the Elbow River, and the Blackfoot name for this place was Mohkinstsis. Today, we call Mohkinstsis our home, the City of Calgary. The City of Calgary is also home to the Métis Nation. I want to thank, as we start, the Conservatory Piano Quintet, who performed a piece called Century. This piece was composed by a Mount Royal Conservatory faculty member, Mr. John Abram. I also would like to thank the singer of our national anthem, Ms. Hannah Pagenkoff, and the Highland Trio. And as we start our ceremony today, I just want to remind you to make sure your electronic devices are on silent. We absolutely welcome you to tweet and to send out in whatever social media you prefer the celebration of this day, but at this moment, we would prefer you do it silently. We have a number of individuals with us on the platform today who are all here to honor the students who are graduating. The platform party includes Dr. Timothy Rowley, President and Vice Chancellor of Mount Royal University. As you note, we have many, so you don't have to clap for every one of them, but the President is good. Dr. Leslie Brown, Provost and Vice President Academic. Mr. Phil Warsaba, Secretary of the General Faculties Council. Mr. Rafiq Kurji, representing the Mount Royal Faculty Association. Mr. Bassett Zarug, President of the Mount Royal Staff Association. Ms. Shayla Breen, President of the Students Association of Mount Royal. We also have representatives from Mount Royal University's Vice Presidents, Mount Royal University's Associate Vice Presidents of Academic Affairs, Deans, Associate Deans, Academic Directors of Mount Royal's faculties, institutes, and centers. members of the Mount Royal University Board of Governors, Elder Clarence Wolfleg Sr., Honorary Doctor of Laws recipient, His Excellency, the Right Honorable Mr. David Johnston, City of Calgary Councillor for Ward 8, Mr. Evan Woolley, Carrie Shaw-Winnick, Associate Dean of Business at Medicine Hat College. Please join me in welcoming the platform party. I would now like to introduce Clarence Wolfleg Sr., or as we know him here, Elder McSeacom, who will open this convocation and installation ceremony.
Okay, Nixokwa. What I've just said is I welcome my relatives. In this world, the spiritual leaders of the world look upon the people of this world as one people on one Mother Earth. That's why we have a special responsibility when we call to address our children of the world. It takes a lot of learning, a lot of patience, and a lot of courage to be able to walk in the presence of the Creator. I wanted to share with you, a lot of you, there's different ways where we keep balance in the being that we are as human beings. All those around us are also living beings, like the trees and the water, the rocks, the birds and the animals. We watch them, but we don't take the time to recognize why they're there. Long before we're not here, long before we even came into the partnership with all these beings, they had a lot of knowledge. Those are the ones that passed their knowledge. I would say they too reached a peak in their lives where they also gathered like you to be able to be honored by their peers, by those that went ahead of them. My message to you is to take the thoughts that you have, take all the bad things, unnecessary things in your mind, those things you do not need. Take the good things. Take the good things will keep your data bank intact. Next thing, take the things in your emotional self, those feelings of fear, those things you've experienced, which you knew how to persevere and carry on. It's a sacrifice to be able to sit and be honored. Then you take all the unnecessary emotions out. The last one you have to do is your behavior. You have to unload all those things that make you carry yourself the way you do. When you do that, in your mind, you get your respect back. In your mind, you get your faith back in this person. In the emotional sector, when you've cleaned and have all the good things, you get your discipline back. When you get discipline back, you get your hope back. With hope, faith, respect, and discipline, you will start your dialogue to keep yourself balanced in future endeavors. The last one, your behavior. You have wishes, you have hopes and dreams. If you do not make a plan how to carry them, you'll still be doing the same thing tomorrow. That's called making decisions. In the behavior side, when you've attained patience in your behavior, then you get the love back for this person. There's only one of you. You have special qualities. That's why we say Nitsitapi. We call all our brothers Nitsitapi, one real person. With that, like the world, you have balanced yourself. And with the guidance of the Creator, however we recognize Him, We have a methodology, different countries. Maintain your balance, and you will do great things. That's the message I have for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Elder McSeacom. At colleges and universities, an installation is the official ceremony where the incoming President and Vice Chancellor is formally endowed with the power and the responsibilities of this office. We are very pleased today that we have many community members bearing witness to this momentous occasion at Mount Royal. You'll also notice in your programs that the university and Dr. Rowley have received numerous certificates of congratulation from all over Canada. As part of Dr. Rowley's commitment to this presidential appointment, he has already sworn an oath of office in the presence of the Honorable Lieutenant Governor of Alberta, Lois Mitchell. Today, Dr. Timothy Rowley will divest of his current academic robes and be invested with the robes of the presidential office. I would like to ask Dr. Rowley, incoming President and Vice Chancellor, Dr. Leslie Brown, Provost and Vice President Academic, and Mr. Phil Warsaba, Secretary of the General Faculties Council, to please join me at the investing of the robes of office. The President and Vice Chancellor robe includes 4 chevrons on each sleeve, which is an honor granted only to one who holds the office of President or Chancellor at an academic institution. The chevrons on the sleeves and the ribbons on the bottom represent the 4 colors of the medicine wheel. The stole, designed by Moonstone Creation, is worn on top of the robe and features 2 buffalo that have been hand-beaded right into the stole. And it now gives me great pleasure to officially introduce to you Mount Royal University's 10th President and first Vice Chancellor, Dr. Timothy Rowley. Dr. Rowley, would you now address the convocation, please?
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much, Susan. It's a pleasure to share today's ceremony with all of you, members of the Board of Governors, representatives of the faculty, staff, and student associations, honorary doctors of law recipient, His Excellency, the Right Honorable David Johnston, special guests, community partners, friends of the university, faculty, staff, family and friends of our graduating class, and most importantly of all, the graduating students. Thank you for allowing me to share today with you. On the surface, it may seem that you and I are at different places in our relationship with Mount Royal University, with you at the end and seemingly me at the beginning. However, what I'd like to tell you today is I don't think we are in fact so very different. For a start, we all invested in formal learning. We learned from our professors in the classroom and on research projects. We became more knowledgeable on our own using wonderful materials like those available in the Riddell Library and Learning Center. We benefited from practical and experiential learning, and we managed different parts of our lives, perhaps most importantly, juggling studying, employment, and important commitments to family and friends. Mark Twain, in his book, Tom Sawyer Abroad, said, "A person who carries a cat by the tail learns something they can learn in no other way." And no doubt, along the way, you learned some hard lessons, got a bit scratched up, and are wiser for it. And as I look at you sitting here today looking fabulous in all your academic regalia, I know that you persevered, and I know you were resilient. Today we celebrate that. And then tomorrow, we get back to our lives and we keep learning. Another thing we have in common is gratitude. We appreciate those who help prepare us for the future and who continue to support us. Graduating students, you're about to join Mount Royal's alumni family. These alumni have paved the way for your success. And in my many conversations in the last month, I learned that Mount Royal has a very powerful and strong reputation. Much of this strength comes from the more than 100,000 alumni who are doing great things in the workplace and in their communities. There's another extremely important group of people who have helped pave the way for your success, your friends and your family, some of whom are with you here today. I recall the best part of my own graduation was seeing the pride in my parents' eyes. Graduates, may I ask you to rise if you are able, and if you have guests here today, look over to them, give them a wave, and give them a thunderous round of applause. That's wonderful. It's nice to have a big group and a lot of enthusiasm. I too appreciate the people who came before me, and this institution, I'm proud to say, is built on an extremely solid foundation. I join a tradition of excellence that aims to foster knowledge and improve society, and many talented people came before me, employees, administrators, faculty, and staff, and they have forged the path before me. They encourage thinking beyond contemporary boundaries and social convention for the betterment of our society. And indeed, they created the MRU of today, a campus that is inclusive of gender, sexual identity, race, ancestry, national origin, political affiliation, ability, just to name a few. While there are many wonderful buildings at MRU, I believe a great university is not denoted by its buildings or, in fact, its bank account. Rather, the excellence is really measured by the people who study and work there and how all those people contribute to the community and the society in which they live. Using this measure, Mount Royal University is a great university. Its history includes strong and long-term partnerships with the community. For example, our relationship with the Calgary Rotary Club goes back to 1910 and our founder, George Kirby. These partnerships have contributed to the growth of not only Mount Royal, but the City of Calgary as well, and I am honored to continue to lead this growth. Graduates, the last thing I share with you is that we have all made the decision to choose Mount Royal. We saw something in this university that led us here. I came to Mount Royal because of its commitment to the student experience, and my guess is you came for the same reason. And I would imagine you have benefited directly from that approach. Before I came here, I knew Mount Royal had a distinguished reputation for teaching and learning, but now that I've been here, I can say for certain that that is true. I have had some of the most fascinating conversations with our faculty members. Their curiosity is infectious. Because of them, you reap the benefits of a world-class education. I have also had some of the most reassuring conversations with staff. Their values reflect the ideals of what a post-secondary education should be. Because of them, you received some of the support you needed that led to your success. With that, graduates, may I ask you to join in a round of applause for the faculty and staff who supported you in getting to today and this moment. In the short time that I've been here, I can attest to the fact that Mount Royal is a welcoming community. The You Belong Here brand is lived and it is real. Just like you, I chose Mount Royal, and just like you, I'm pretty happy that I did. I believe that education has the power to transform lives. It has transformed my life, and I'm confident that it has transformed yours. Because of your community service, I hope you will continue to give back. Because you personally grew, you are now more resilient. You're not finished changing. Of course, your life will be full of transformational moments, but remember what you have learned here, and remember that you are not alone. Mount Royal will always be here for you. We are proud of you, and we are proud of what you will accomplish, and we know your future is bright. I believe the future of MRU is also bright, and I'm excited and I'm honored and committed to do my part as President and Vice Chancellor. I have taken an oath of office, and I will do my utmost to fulfill that oath. I will work with faculty, students, and staff to build a strong vision focused on exceptional student experience. I will reinforce the areas where we are already leaders and champion positive change in areas where we are still growing. I will tell the MRU story, who we are, where we're headed, and why people should want to be part of our bright future. And I will continue to contribute to a strong post-secondary sector in Calgary, Alberta, and in Canada. I started today, graduates, by saying that you and I are not so very different, and I believe that is true. We are here together because we all appreciate the people who came before us. We are here because we appreciate Mount Royal's focus on students, and we are here together with an incredibly bright future ahead of us. Just as you are grateful for those who supported you, I am very grateful to those who have supported me, in particular the MRU community that has welcomed me openly. And I'd also like to thank the team of people who helped transition me to this campus. Graduates, thank you for choosing Mount Royal, and thank you for allowing me to share this ceremony with you today. Congratulations.
Thank you, Tim. All of us at Mount Royal look forward to the next chapter in our history under your leadership. Today, we are so fortunate to be able to celebrate such a large class of graduands and a new president on the same day. And I would like to thank personally each and every one of you out there for choosing Mount Royal to pursue your post-secondary. You had some choices, and you chose us. You've invested greatly in your education, and this will give you many new possibilities in your lives and open many doors. Enjoy your day. You've absolutely earned it. I would now like to invite Dr. Leslie Brown, Provost and Vice President Academic, to introduce our Honorary Doctor of Laws recipient.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and congratulations, Dr. Rowley. It is now my pleasure to present an Honorary Doctor of Laws in recognition of an individual's outstanding achievements in the academic, private, or public sector. Like much university protocol, honorary degrees date back to the Middle Ages and are often accompanied by the words honoris causa, meaning for honorific reasons. I am pleased to announce that Mount Royal University's Board of Governors, on the recommendation of the General Faculty's Council, is bestowing an Honorary Doctor of Laws on His Excellency, the Right Honourable Mr. David Johnston, in honor of his exemplary leadership in Canada. Mr. Johnston served as the Governor-General of Canada from 2010 to 2017, the 28th since Canadian Confederation. Educated at Harvard, Cambridge, and Queen's Universities, Mr. Johnston began his career as a professor before becoming a senior administrator at various post-secondary institutions. These included the University of Western Ontario, McGill University, and the University of Waterloo. Mr. Johnston served on many task forces, commissions, boards, and committees, including the Truth and Reconciliation Commission of Canada. His depth of knowledge and ability to articulate complex issues made him well suited to being a broadcaster, journalist, and author. He also hosted television panel discussions and moderated federal and provincial leader debates. Mr. Johnston also published many books on law, as well as chapters in other volumes and magazine articles. Mr. Johnston received the Order of Canada twice. He received a Commander of the Order of Military Merit and is an Honorary Chief Commissioner of the Canadian Coast Guard. With this introduction, Mount Royal University is proud to present His Excellency, the Right Honourable David Johnston, with this Honorary Doctor of Laws. I would like to invite him forward to the podium where the President and Vice Chancellor, Dr. Timothy Rowley, will officially confer the Honorary Doctor of Laws, assisted by the Secretary of the General Faculty's Council, Mr. Phil Warsaba.
Let's do a quick photo. Over here? Yeah. Go. Thank you, Leslie. Thank you. I'll put this. Thank you. And I will put
Ladies and gentlemen, by the power vested in me by the General Faculty's Council and as approved by Mount Royal University's Board of Governors, I present Mount Royal University Honorary Doctor of Laws, His Excellency, the Right Honorable Dr. David Johnston. I invite Dr. Johnston forward to the podium to address our graduates.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Brown. First of all, congratulations to Dr. Rowley on this wonderful day of installation. And Tim, may the days ahead be filled with joy, and I know they will at this wonderful university. Je suis très heureux d'être ici parmi vous et je suis honoré d'être membre de la classe de 2029 de l'Université Montréal. I'm so pleased to be here in your company at this convocation for several reasons. The first is my great admiration for this university, and I've watched it for 30 years or so. It has grown in stature and extent, and the days ahead will be even more distinguished, I think. The second reason is that I have quite an attachment to Montreal, or Mount Royal. I was at McGill, as was your president, with 2 McGill degrees. I have none, I should tell you. All 6 women in my family do, my wife and 5 daughters. And they say, well, Dad has always been in the slow class. He's lacking that McGill credential. But we lived in Montreal on the west side of Mount Royal, Westmount, and McGill is on the east side with Mount Royal Park at its back. And my running routine was to run from the west side up the mountain and down the east side to the university in the morning and to run back at home. And I probably did that 5 days out of 7 a week, and it permitted me to do a couple marathons every year. That was my preparation. And that Mount Royal became part of me, was part of my inner being. And I missed it so much when I left Montreal because I no longer had those hills to climb just to keep in shape. So Mount Royal means a great deal to me. I want to leave you with a question, and I'll provide some answers at the end of my brief remarks. And the question is, who owns the university? Who owns this university? I'll come back to that. Recently, I wrote a book called Trust. And what motivated me to write a book on trust is I'm concerned about the erosion of trust in our public institutions, our governments, our non-governmental organizations, our media, our business, etc. Not simply a Canadian phenomena, but a phenomena that really is spreading around the world. And as I thought a lot about it and went back to some of my early work as a professor of law, I said, where does trust come from in a nation? Well, it comes from trusting communities, trusting neighborhoods, trusting business enterprises, trusting local associations. And where does trust in those organizations and enterprise come from? It comes from trusted individuals. And so the book kind of reversed the narrative, and it begins with a proposition of how does one become a trusted person? How does one build trust in oneself? Let me tell you 3 stories briefly just to illustrate this. I think you can hang truths from stories, and then I will terminate. The first story was in a first day university class. It could have been psychology, economics, history. The professor came in and addressing the students for the first time, he held up a jar, glass jar, and he said, is this jar empty or full? And the student says, well, it looks empty to us, sir. And then he reached into the first drawer and he pulled out some rocks, and he put them into the jar up to the top. Is it empty or full now? Well, it's full now, sir. Second drawer, and he took some pebbles and sprinkled it in up to the top. Empty or full? Well, it's really full now, sir. Third drawer, some sand sprinkled in up to the top. Empty or full now? Well, it really is full, sir. And then he reached into the bottom drawer and pulled out a can of Diet Coke and poured it in. Empty or full? It's full now, sir. He paused, good professor, and said, why am I doing this? Nobody answered. He said, well, first reason I'm doing this is I'm teaching critical thinking. When I first held that glass, that jar, you said it was full. Well, it said it was empty. Well, it was empty in a sense, but it was filled with air. It wasn't a vacuum. And then subsequently with other things, it was full or empty depending on your particular point of view. So that's critical thinking, examining the evidence carefully, asking the questions, and coming to a conclusion. But he says there's a much more important lesson that I want to draw from this story. And as the elder was giving that wonderful opening address, I was so caught by the messages that he was giving to us. Because the professor said, look at your life as this jar, especially at this particular point in your journey where you're embarking upon a new chapter, a new route. In many ways, the jar is empty and partly filled, but there's so many opportunities. If that jar is you, the rocks go in first. The rocks represent your fundamental values, your sense of who you are, your sense of integrity, your sense of being a trustworthy person, creating trust in yourself and those around you, and embracing the notion of around you. These are the values that make you the special person you are. The pebbles? Well, the pebbles are your responsibilities. If you have a part-time job, you show up on time and do it well. When you're one of 3 or 4 people on that joint assignment, don't you be the one who's doing the least work. You be in there, pitch in. It's taking responsibilities seriously and fulfilling them well, being a good team player. The sand? Oh, the sand, that's just stuff. That's just hanging out, bobbing and weaving and so on. So if you fill your jar with sand, there's no room for the pebbles and no room for the rocks. So get the rocks in your jar first. And then, good professor that he was, he paused for the longest time, saying nothing, and then a brave girl in the back row put up her hand and said, sir, what about the Diet Coke? And he said, well, that's just to remind you there's always time to sit down and have a soft drink with a good friend. The second story is a story that comes from David Brooks, who's a columnist for the New York Times and has been for some time. He's writing a book called Two Mountains. The first mountain is the mountain of self-actualization. It's our journey of accomplishment. It's the mountain that you all climbed to be admitted to this institution and the mountain that you climbed to be celebrating your graduation today. And all the accomplishments along the way, which I know gave you a great sense of satisfaction, of people who can get things done at a high level of excellence, and a sense of happiness, good happiness. But David Brooks says if you're really lucky, as you're climbing up that first mountain, you look across the valley and you see a second mountain. That second mountain is the other. It's those people who are around you, particularly those people who haven't had quite the same happy journey that you have up your first mountain. And you learn to reach out to them and give them a hand up. And so there are two mountains in your life. The best illustration I know of that is the work of Craig and Mark Kielberger. Some of you as high school students may have participated in their We Day celebrations where you earn the right to come and hear a day of volunteering by virtue of your own volunteering. And what Craig and Mark talk about and attempt to actualize across the country is moving from the first person singular to the first person plural in your life, from me to we. And I can tell you, when the universe no longer revolves only about you and your accomplishments on the first mountain, and begins to embrace the accomplishments and the efforts for accomplishment for people on the second mountain, the world becomes a whole lot more interesting and a big burden drops off your shoulder. You're no longer preoccupied by what concerns you and your achievements. You've got room for others. The third story I want to leave you with is an actual story. Took place in Montreal about 30 years ago. Mother Teresa was with us, and she was speaking at the Greater Montreal Prayer Breakfast. Before her address, there were 50 or so of us who got together with her, and she spoke a bit about her work in Calcutta. And one of our neighbors said, Mother Teresa, we're so moved by your work in Calcutta. What can we do to help? Well, Tim, I was a university president of 10 years or so at that point of time, and I thought she would say, bring out your checkbooks and write a large check, and I can assure you that the money will be used for good things in my village in Calcutta. She didn't say that. She said, look around you. Look in your neighborhood. Look in your family. I guarantee you that there's someone there who needs your love and care, moving from me to we. After she gave a wonderful testimonial, the 4 Montreal newspapers carried the story of it. 3 of them were very laudatory. The 4th one was one of those newspapers who, I guess, practice what we would call today rail politics, seeing things as they really are and don't getting too worried about the fluff and the emotion and these flights of fancy. And the story was that Mother Teresa was with us yesterday, gave a moving speech at the Greater Montreal Prayer Breakfast, and she's a very worthy woman, probably should be canonized by her church, and she was subsequently. But let's be practical, said the next paragraph. Consider what she does. Looks after some homeless, starving people in Calcutta, 250 or so, in a city of 20 million people, or over half of whom are in abject poverty, in a country of 1 billion or so, thousands and hundreds of thousands living in the most dire circumstances that you can imagine. In the grand scheme of things, what she does is a mere drop in the bucket, a mere drop in the ocean. That bothered me for the longest time. And then I was at Western, I was a Dean of Law, and we had a birthday party. We had 5 daughters in 7 years, so birthday parties were big deals. And I would tell ghost stories at the birthday parties, thinking it would amuse and scare the kids. And after one of them, our eldest daughter, who was about 9 at the time, came to me and said, Dad, I've got something to tell you. What's that, dear? Well, you know the ghost stories that you tell the kids at the birthday party? They're all lies, they're all made up. And the kids know that, and they just pretend to be scared because they know your feelings would be hurt if they didn't pretend to be scared. Why can't you be like Dean McFarlane? He does magic at birthday parties. Dean McFarlane was the dean of the School of Journalism. I was the dean of the School of Law, and I thought, Andy McFarlane, you wretched guy, showing me up before my own children. So I went to a birthday party at the McFarlane house a few weeks later, and lo and behold, there was McFarlane the Magnificent, robe, top hat, dressed as a musician, curling mustache, and he was doing card tricks, and the kids were absolutely mesmerized. And then as his pièce de résistance, he reached into the podium here and he pulled out a glass of water. And he said, I will turn this water into wine. I thought, careful, Andy, the last time that was done was 2,000 years ago by someone with a little more authority than you have. And in his sleeve, he had an eyedropper with 1 drop of red vegetable dye. And he dropped that into the clear glass of water. And he said, abracadabra, and he shook it like that. And the clear liquid turned into a beautiful shade of rosé. And the light went on in my head in Mother Teresa's drop in the bucket. I had been looking at that drop in the bucket from the point of view of mathematics or physics. I should have been looking at it as chemical engineering, because when that 1 drop of red dye interacted with the many molecules of H2O in that glass of clear liquid, it transformed their color and their nature. It transformed the culture of that particular vessel. And that's what you do when you move from me to we. That's what you do when you're an act of kindness, an act of concern, being smart and caring. You not only change the life of that person whom you helped, you change your own life in a way, and you change the entire culture around you. One of my favorite quotes comes from George Bernard Shaw, and it's a couplet that's really attractive. Some people see things as they are and wonder why. We dream of things that ought to be and ask why not. And it's 2 parts of the university, isn't it? Some people see things as they are and wonder why. That's the curiosity. That's what drives us in the university. But then you come to that second statement, we dream. That's an aspiration for the future. Of things that ought to be, that's a moral imperative. And ask why not, and that's a call to action. Let me end by commenting on that question, who owns the university? Well, my answer is that nobody owns the university. But there are some people who are special stewards of that university. The people on this platform, the board, the assembly of faculty councils, faculty, staff, members of the community. But then we come to you, the graduating class of 2019. And I was so taken as I came in this afternoon to see the sign, "You belong here." And at the end of your program, you'll see a statement from the Alumni Association, "We will always belong here." That sense of belonging is really important. And of all of the stewards of this university, the categories I mentioned, you in many ways are the most important because you've come here at a very formative stage in your life. And you've given a lot of yourself, intellectually, emotionally, and so on. And with any luck, it's been a period of great joy and great formation, great development. And you have an attachment with this place that is very organic. So my suggestion to you is see yourselves as the very special steward of this university. You belong here, it belongs to you. Be its ambassadors. Be the people that recruit other people to come here because you have been able to see that their interests fit well into programs. Be a good constructive critic. Be a volunteer. And within your financial means, make a financial gift back each year so that this will be an even better place for those who come after. I'm so pleased and delighted to be a member of the class of 2019, and I will be a proud ambassador of Mount Royal University, as I know all of you will. Merci.
Thank you very much, Dr. Johnston. In just a few moments, we will hit the main event, which is a presentation of our graduates. Guests are welcome to take pictures, but we ask that you please stay in your seats to do so. A professional photographer will take a picture of each graduate as they cross the stage, and each graduate will also receive a complimentary photo courtesy of the Alumni Association. Families, friends, and guests, please feel free to celebrate loudly and in whatever way you deem appropriate as your graduate walks across the stage. In this moment, it is their moment and it won't come again, so use it wisely. Graduates, as you leave the stage, you will be officially welcomed into the alumni family by a member of our Alumni Relations team. It is now my privilege to invite Mr. Phil Warsaba, Secretary of the General Faculty's Council, to the podium to officially present Mount Royal University's spring graduates.
Mr. President, members of the Board of Governors, faculty, graduates, and of course our guests, on behalf of Mount Royal University's General Faculty's Council, I hereby declare that the candidates whose names appear in today's program, whether they be present or absent, have satisfied their requirements for their respective degrees, diplomas, or certificates. I now invite President and Vice Chancellor Dr. Tim Rowley, Dean of the Faculty of Business and Communication Studies, Dr. Elizabeth Evans, and members of the faculty to come forward to acknowledge the graduates from the Bissett School of Business as they receive their parchments.
The first graduate of today's convocation ceremony is Zane Fisher, who is posthumously receiving a Bachelor of Business Administration, General Management. To accept his parchment today is Zane's father, Mr. John Fisher. Presenting the graduates of the Aviation Diploma, Martin Guillaume Beauchemin. Samuel Bryce Hickling. William Joseph Philip Wagner. Presenting the graduates of the Bachelor of Business Administration, Accounting, Mahmoud Ahmed. Ahmed Halaj. Ahmad will also be graduating with a major in general management. Habiba Abi Ali. Habiba will also graduate with a major in general management. Arbor Aliyah. Dia Aurora. Ramadeep Asi. Ramadeep will also graduate with a major in general management. Jessica Louise Basraba. Jessica will also graduate with a major in general management. Baljit Basra. Leora Yuli Bolyu. Leora will also graduate with a major in general management. Derek Lane Bevan. JJ Allen Bittel. Kisanet Brahana. Kisanet will also graduate with a major in general management. Callie Ann Boris. Dana Marie Boser. Dana will also graduate with a major in general management. Bronte Ellen Bowerman. Quinn Leland Bromley. Quinn will also graduate with a major in general management. Logan David Brown. Angus Harold Bullock. Josiah Virgil Gallo Caporal. Brandon Alexander Kay. Blend Chikai. Albert Choi Chung. Thomas Jonathan Cunningham. Shamil Mohez Damji. Eric Davis. Philippe Doe. Zachary Dylan Dow. Christian Dominic C. Factura. Daniel Martin Ferguson. Daniel will also graduate with a major in general management. Trent Matthew Geiger. Emma Daisy Giacchino. Simranjit Grayhall. Ilham Arif Harji. Samira Sir Aghassan. Ahmed Hassoun. Syed Saad Hussein. Syed will also graduate with a major in general management. Aruzo Hussani. Aruzo will also graduate with a major in General Management. Tao Huyn. Tao will also graduate with a major in General Management. Dylan Robert Hyde. Allison Lee James. Harman Singh Jaswal. Ashmita Kaushik. Gurman Kara. Ramin Khan. Sarb Khurana. Michael Olaragbi Kalani. Victoria Kathleen Curlin. Theo Philip Klepecki. Riley Lorraine Lamb. Shakayla Marie Lester. Carter Sean Little. Barton Andrew Edward Lute. Anna Maria Lucician. Glenn Maniti Makabali. Gurkaran Manhas. Jesse Laszlo Marshall. Jesse will also graduate with a major in General Management. Bryce R. McDonald. Bryce will also graduate with a major in General Management. Amna Naeem. Jarul Nandwani. Travis Owen Newinger. Kwa Nguyen. Austin Nguyen To. David Nunez Alvarez. Curtis John Paley. Christian M. Patterson. Charlene May Umeng Pektason. Simran Fagura. Johnny Than Fan. Russell George Prazik. Miranda Rao. Miranda will also graduate with a major in General Management. Lavpreet Singh Sikhan. Joshua Noah Egbuya Sembrano. Peter Allen Serafini. Keith Sean Shorten. Bobby Singh Sidhu. Asmeet Singh. Jackson Edward Smith. Maria Bassina Tria. Katrina Marie Vaugeois. Zunera Wasim. Bradley Robert Joseph White. Olivia Rhoda Ziegler. Okay. Presenting the graduates of the Bachelor of Business Administration, Accounting Cooperative Education. Brianne Marissa Ellefson. Cole Daniel Hartung. Jeremy Joseph Hardy. Chi Mai Nguyen. Presenting the graduates of the Bachelor of Business Administration, General Management. Caitlin Emma Abbott. Omar Abdul Fattah. Adam Nuhad Abuden. China Lei Al-Qaid. Mitchell Rocco Amato. Ali Arif. Brittany E. Arschenhoff. Grant Douglas Baker. Ryan James Baxter. Diana Michelle Bishop. Dylan Joshua Blunt. Aaron Hunter Brust. Kevin Ronald Jared Berdillo. Dominic Anthony Keisha. James David Carlson. Colin John Casey. Allison June Cassidy. Dalen Cato Meyer. Devin Singh Chima. Maxim Chigai. Colin Christopher Cooper. Sydney Aaron Craig. Michael Anthony Croft. Carson David Dembski. Darcy. Ali Darcy. Robert James Donaldson. Jamie Lynn Dugay. Ada Duong. Madison S. Dutton. Jordan Curtis Dye. And Mill. Anna Jean Mala and Mill. Oluwade Milade Erinley. Leslie Ann Farrell. Leanne Jade Fewens. Juan Pablo Franco Rojas. Jackson Ambler Gates. Enrique Galindo. Diego Enrique Garzon. Mimosa Gashi. Geralf Gaudia. Gershon Guman. Kyle Raymond Goldsmith. Miriam Ali Goma. Gothard. Chloe Ellen Gothard. Terrace Mercedes Hannah. Nathan Preston Hawes. Zachary Romulus Henry. CJ Don Harriman. Miranda Page Hessels. Houston Higgins. Mackenzie Nicole Hollinger. Arnaud Huskic. Syed Hassan Hussein. Molly Suzanne Jarvis. Connor Nathan Jones. Matthew Joseph Katzer. Aveline Kaur Kang. Vanessa Lauren Kay. Genevieve N. Ketchum. Hassan Khan. Wiande Care. Kasha Marta Colt. Lincoln William Kwasny. Kevin LaSaletta. Tara Jacqueline Lazar. Samuel Joseph Lonberg. Daniel Richard Lovelace. Chris Barry Deacon Lowe. Hui Tuan Lu. Christopher Lai. Cameron A. McFarquhar. Riley Connor McCallum. Aaron Monique McLean. Jared Evan McNeil. Narayan McCrae. Andres Felipe Montoya. Dylan Gerard Murray. Farkunda Niazi. William Philip Nikiforuk. Quinton Livingston Ogilvie. David Okonwo. Tanner James Olstad. Alexander James Parkins. Jasmine Natasha Pasquale. Garrett Austin Pattison. Darian Padar. Tanvir Faguda. Can Win Kim Pham. Lorraine Teresita Phipps.
Nicholas David Pinilla, like a J, double L. Pinilla? Pinilla, double L.
Nicholas David Pinilla. Taylor Stewart Potter. Victor Alexander Power Romero. John Cameron Price. Samantha Ann Pryor. Cole A. Rayner. And Alem Tesfaya Regessa. Bahar Razai. Emily Robertson. Jessica Robles. Rutano. Mark Ian Rutano. Sandhu. Sandhu. Jasmeet Kaur Sandhu. Rayvon Sawyer. Ashley Senior.
Can you add in a Campbell here? Logan Edward Campbell Sinclair.
Logan Edward Campbell Sinclair. David Norman Stevens.
Hi. My name's Azra Tursic. Yeah. With a double major.
Azra Tursic. Azra will also graduate with a major in human resources. Kathleen Urmanetta. Muhammad Abdul Makit Siddiqui. Matthew Alejandro Sinclair. Darsh Sohi. Dane Yosip Sokol. Craig Stanghe. Anna Ursova.
Did you say Cassandra Van Kessel, not Nicole? Thank you.
Cassandra Van Kessel. Jacob Young Vickers. Austin Vrabel. Ryan Andrew Wenger. Evan Thomas Whitney. Chelsea Jessica Wilson. Kunga Wesser. Carissa Raylene Wright. Glenn Robertson Yang. Dalen
Yeah.
Jurgens.
Yeah.
Kirsty Dalen Jurgens. Presenting the graduates of the Bachelor of Business Administration, General Management, Cooperative Education. Michael Patrick Bolter. Michael will also graduate with a major in accounting. Erica Mami Tiwa Effa. Irita Japali. Nidal Muhammad Islam. Mikhail Krimkin. Karinder Veer Singman. Michael Victor McCaffrey. Louis Mem.
Marina Ninovska. Yeah, Ninovska.
Marina Ninovska. Sergio Polito. Carmela Ruth Reyes. Gurkeet Singh Sangha. Jeffrey Cole Stevenson. Presenting the graduates of the Bachelor of Business Administration, Human Resources. Rula Abu Ahmad. Rula will also graduate with a major in General Management. Brandon James Barlow. Dolly Bular. Kamalpreet Chima. Laura Marie Clark. Laura will also graduate with a major in general management.
Can you say fennel, not fennel? Thank you so much.
Kaylee Fennell. Kaylee will also graduate with a major in general management. Nicole Jordan Fong.
Grasher.
Sarah Louise Grasher. Sarah will also graduate with a major in general management. Georgiana Graham. Sarah Grace Hickling. Sarah will also graduate with a major in general management. Courtney Alicia Johnson. Michael Brandon Coe. Nicole Adriana Kish. Victoria Michelle Kosharovsky. Victoria will also graduate with a major in general management. Rachel Lai. Rachel will also graduate with a major in general management. Haley Marie Lang. Christina Leanne Little. Carmen Lowe. Carmen will also graduate with a major in general management. Mireille Makul. Mahmoуда Marin. Mahmouda will also graduate with a major in general management. Rebecca McWilliams. Maliha Mohammed. Maliha is also graduating with a major in general management. Stevie Catherine Morris. Rabaha Naveed. Ibrahim Akasha. Ibrahim will also graduate with a major in general management. Kyle William Paul. Kyle will also graduate with a major in general management. Erin Nicole Poffenroth. Erin will also graduate with a major in general management. Gladys Reyes. Gladys will also graduate with a major in general management. Krista Paula Reyes. Anthony Mario Rizzuti. Tia Rolston. Hardeep Sahoda. Chantel Vivian Saeed. Jamari Samali. Terry Ann Schulmeister. Daryl Seep. Emma Selman. Shalom Angelica Shoniwa. Shalom will also graduate with a major in general management. Danielle Elizabeth Sunquist. Kennedy Page Tadischuk. Kennedy will also graduate with a major in general management. Deldika Unra. Lashika Wikramasinghe. Presenting the graduates of the Bachelor of Business Administration, Human Resources Cooperative Education. Layli Mona Ati.
Last name is Dom.
Joshua Allen Dom. Joshua will also graduate with a major in general management. Melvika Garg. James Douglas Robert Thomas Graham. Vritti Gupta. Joshua Albert Hanna. Joshua will also graduate with a major in general management. Shelby Page Harapiak. Amy Delane Kachuk. Quinton Lee. Quinton will also graduate with a major in general management. Justin Connor McLaren. Justin will also graduate with a major in marketing. Jennifer Miko. Jennifer will also graduate with a major in general management. Isha Anil Shishodia. Chrissy Tu Minta. Allison Tang. Presenting the graduates of the Bachelor of Business Administration, Marketing, Honors. Anthony Dino Michelson. Janelle Page Scott. Janelle will also graduate with a major in General Management. Presenting the graduates of the Bachelor of Business Administration, Marketing. Dustin John Boone. Dustin will also graduate with a major in General Management. McKay Justin Bray. Brittany Hope Brooks. Brittany will also graduate with a major in General Management. Douglas Aaron Bust. Brooke Otilia Bunce. Jessica Nicole Kamra. Garrett Ethan Corson. Alexis Jade David. Sonia DeClaire. Alyssa Marie Douglas. Cassandra Elaine Escobedo. Bruno Farrow. Jennifer Ashley Friedman. Amanda Page Gerhardt. Erin Lynn Griswold. Benjamin Gross. Benjamin will also graduate with a major in General Management. Mackenzie Margaret Gregus. Winta Samar Hagos. Jackson Russell Henderson. Matea Bryn Henderson. Kelsey Louisa Hilferty. Kelsey will also graduate with a major in general management. Larissa Hoffner. Cameron Evan Houston. Kathleen May Ruby Jessiman. Brian Frank Keith. Mitchell Edward Kelly. Adil Khan. Andreas Kneidl. Manesh Lad. Kira Gibson Locke. Kira will also graduate with a major in general management. Kyla Mackey. Jesse McGanna Villanueva. Kayla Ann Malone. Luke Merrill Morstad. Cosmin James Motley. Amir Nikravan. Alexandru Parsioga. Taylor Janet Pelland. Veronica Plava. Amelia Marie Rizicki. Jagjot Kaur Sandhu. Christina Rose Skagey. Vinny Stadnick. Alexandra Yvonne Swinston. Matthew McLeod Taylor. Trevor Donald Teese. Joshua Robert Reese Thomas. Bryce Chandler Douglas Whittingham. Kylie Wong. Vidal Zhu. Presenting the graduates of the Bachelor of Business Administration, Marketing Cooperative Education. Alicia Josephine Angbers. Alicia will also graduate with a major in General Management. Jamie Nicole Furlot. Taryn Laura Hart. Justin John Colentz. Amrit Sani. This concludes the graduates of the Bissett School of Business at Mount Royal University.
Welcome each and every one of you to the Mount Royal Alumni family. Job well done. On behalf of Mount Royal University, it is my privilege to announce the recipient of the Governor General Bronze Medal is Mr. Alexander DeBoer. The Governor General's Medal, established in 1873, is one of the most prestigious awards that can be earned by a student in a Canadian educational institution for exceptional academic achievement. Alexander graduated with an aviation diploma and achieved the highest academic standing of all graduates in a diploma program with a cumulative GPA of 4.0. Yes. Unfortunately, Alexander was unable to join us today, but he will receive his medal and a parchment, and hopefully, if he watches the tape of this ceremony, he'll hear your congratulations. Elder McSeacom opened our ceremony today, but he is far more than someone who would open a ceremony. He is a friend of Mount Royal, and on campus, he is an elder, and he is a spiritual advisor. In 2016, Elder McSeacom received an Honorary Bachelor of Sociology from Mount Royal. He also gifted to the university an honor song. And the honor song recognizes Mount Royal as a place where Indigenous knowledge and perspectives are embraced. And today the honor song will be played in honor of the graduates. I would ask the graduates to remain seating while the remainder of the audience stands, and the song will be performed by the Sorrel Rider Singers. Please stand. Platform party, faculty and audience, please remain standing. I would like to thank the Sorrel Rider Singers and Elder McSeacom. I would now like to invite back to the podium Dr. Leslie Brown, where she will lead the graduates in the time-honored tradition of the tassel toss.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Graduates, before we conclude today's ceremony, we have one final assignment for you, a little rite of passage. Graduates, can I ask that you please rise as you're able? Your convocation regalia, your gown, your hood, and your mortarboard is a time-honored symbol of graduation. And until you graduate, the tassel on your mortarboard is worn on the right side. You'll notice that those behind me are wearing theirs on their left. It is my distinct pleasure to congratulate you on your remarkable achievements and ask that you now move your tassels from the right to the left. Ladies and gentlemen, moms and dads, grandparents, friends and family, I present to you the graduating class of 2019.